Baby boomers leaving their homes either because they're moving to assisted living centers or they're just no longer living.
In less than 10 years, more than a third of the homes in Sun City are going to be empty.
Buyers are finally starting to see some relief as mortgage rates have fallen for 8 consecutive weeks.
We saw that change last year when it was actually baby boomers who bought more homes. They accounted for 39% of home purchases.
Some big numbers coming out of the housing market today, and they're not looking pretty if you're looking to...
Today, we're going to navigate the evolving landscape of real estate with knowledge and foresight. The traditional distinctions between working class and middle class no longer hold the same significance. What truly matters now is whether you own a home or not. The home you currently reside in often generates more income statistically than your job. For many young individuals, the prospect of catching up financially hinges on receiving a home as a gift from a relative. This raises concerns about the future of the real estate market once the baby boomer generation passes away.
Well, the new report from the Wall Street Journal says people are delaying purchasing homes by years and instead choosing to spend their money in other ways.
The report shows housing prices in July hit an all-time high, but that might be about to change.
The housing market is frozen and expensive. Want to buy a house? You'll probably need to be making 6 figures, and that's just not something a lot of people in the U.S. have.
The adage suggesting that the best time to start investing was 30 years ago, with the second best time being now, may not hold true in today's market. Acquiring a home at the right moment could secure financial stability for you and your family, but the catch is that the right time might have been when you were still in school. Nowadays, attempting to purchase a home means confronting record-high interest rates, unprecedented prices, and a scarcity of available properties, all simultaneously. People sell homes for 2 main reasons: because they want to or because they have to. The majority of homeowners are reluctant to sell due to having secured historically low interest rates. Selling a home and buying another one often means obtaining a new mortgage with significantly higher interest rates, leading to tripled payments for a property of equivalent value. According to National Association of Realtors data, 87% of new home purchases involve a mortgage, and first-time buyers typically make an average down payment of only 7%. Given these circumstances, higher mortgage rates are something homeowners are keen to avoid. A report from the Wall Street Journal highlights that even when homeowners move to a different state, they prefer holding on to their existing homes, renting them out, and renting another property to live in. This situation has created a real estate market impasse, with both sellers and buyers patiently awaiting a drop in interest rates.
Tesla is getting a run for its money in the EV industry, and mortgage demand is down despite the recent drop in interest rates.
Those who can benefit from a refinance are trying to get it while they can, but most homeowners have rates as low as 3 and 4%. Remember, mortgage rates were near record lows for the first 2 years of the pandemic, so most borrowers refinanced then.
Renters, on the other hand, find themselves in a challenging position, competing with homeowners who are not eager to sell due to their favorable, locked-in interest rates. The real estate market participants find themselves in a standoff, akin to a Mexican standoff, while renters face the struggle armed with comparatively fewer resources. For those aspiring to become homeowners, the most viable option appears to be acquiring a home from someone compelled to sell. According to a recent report by the National Association of Realtors, the average age of a home seller in America is 60. While it's true that one of the reasons people in this age group may need to sell their homes is due to unfortunate circumstances such as passing away, if you're hoping that the large home-owning generation downsizing will alleviate the challenges for first-time home buyers, I'm here to provide a dose of reality backed by data. There are 3 compelling reasons why the older generations leaving the housing market won't necessarily make it easier for new buyers to enter. Firstly, the elderly can often take it with them when they leave. Homeownership inequality tends to worsen with age. According to LendingTree data, 8 out of 10 Americans over the age of 65 own their homes, and only 19% of them still have a mortgage. Contrary to the assumption that these homes will flood the market, the fastest growing reason for selling among older homeowners is not mortality, but the need for funds to support retirement living.
I sold my house because I couldn't pay the taxes, pay the gardener, pay everything. My mother did. But when she passed on and gave me her house.
The Washington Post's report highlighted a significant increase in the annual cost of nursing homes, rising from a median of $65,000 in 2004 to $108,000 till now. At the time of the article's publication, conditions in nursing homes have been deteriorating, particularly as the sector becomes a rapidly growing asset class for private equity firms like Blackstone and Bain, seeking higher returns on real estate investments. In 2017, Blackstone executed a significant $745 million deal with the real estate investment trust Welltower, acquiring a portfolio of 3,400 aged care units. While Blackstone's holdings are expanding, other private equity firms have raised billions specifically for investments in elderly living, recognizing the significant value it offers to investors. Private equity firms in this sector focus on cutting costs and increasing prices, resulting in exceptional yields from real estate developments tailored to the expanding market of elderly Americans. With most individuals not earning $108,000 annually, and even fewer able to afford such costs in retirement, many are compelled to sell their homes to cover fees for these facilities. While private equity's involvement in acquiring single-family homes is sometimes overstated, they've realized that ownership isn't necessary to benefit from the property's value. States with the highest home prices tend to have the most expensive aged care facilities, as elderly residents in these states often have more funds available after selling their homes. Those unable to meet these fees rely on limited Social Security benefits and assistance from family and friends when they can no longer work.
An elderly man picked up the phone last week and placed a heartbreaking call to 911. Turns out it was a wake-up call about a growing problem that has gone unnoticed.
Based on federal data and according to latest Brookings study, just over 10% of American adults are involved in providing some form of care to another adult, often involving adult children caring for their parents. In an interview with the Washington Post, John Muchler, the director of the Gerontology Institute at the University of Massachusetts, emphasized that when adult children take on caregiving roles, they frequently have to make sacrifices, such as giving up part or all of their employment. If you're anticipating inheriting wealth to facilitate your first home purchase, it's crucial to recognize that this wealth may not reach you as expected. There's a significant likelihood that private equity companies could absorb these assets before they reach potential heirs. This is just the initial factor to consider, highlighting the need to understand how money works and manage expectations regarding the potential benefits from the transfer of assets as the baby boomer generation passes down their homes. The average age of a first-time home buyer in the United States has risen to 35 years, compared to 33 years in 2021 and 30 years in 2010. A survey conducted by Freddie Mac and Bankrate among young home buyers sought to understand why individuals are delaying their first home purchase. Unsurprisingly, the top response indicated that people aspire to buy their first home earlier, but financial constraints prevent them from doing so until they've paid off student loans, progressed in their careers, and saved for a down payment over several years. In response to this challenge, various financial institutions, including banks, non-bank lenders, and the government, have introduced new financial products offering home lending with lower down payment requirements. The average down payment of 7% reflects a significant reduction for first-time home buyers, aided by products like the Federal Housing Administration loan insurance, allowing a down payment as low as 3% of the purchase price plus closing costs. Companies like Zillow are taking this a step further by planning to introduce 1% down payment financing for eligible home buyers nationwide. While these offers may seem beneficial for first-time home buyers, they may inadvertently exacerbate the existing problem. The primary beneficiaries of these lending products are individuals who already own multiple properties, predominantly baby boomers who collectively possess $18 trillion worth of real estate, as indicated by Redfin. Disclosures related to these loan products often reveal limitations on the total loan size that can be obtained. While these products are designed for first-time homebuyers aiming to purchase a basic home, their impact is primarily inflating the prices of affordable homes, rendering them unaffordable in the long run. Although these loan products may allow someone to enter a $750,000 house with only a $10,000 down payment, the real challenge shifts from the initial down payment to sustaining the monthly repayments. While a down payment is a one-time expense, repayments on an overpriced house due to such loan products become a recurring obligation for the next 30 years. The ultimate winners in this scenario are those who acquired these homes when their value was a fraction of the current market price and can now sell them to buyers relying on risky financing. This highlights the second reason why the retirement of boomers won't necessarily make it easier for others to secure a home. It was never solely an age-related issue. According to the 2016 U.S. Census estimate, the number of families with children who own their homes declined by 3.6 million in the decade leading up to the survey. Families with children increasingly opted for renting, either for the flexibility it provides or due to financial constraints hindering home purchases. Additionally, families who own homes tend to have fewer children on average, contributing to an overall 3.4% decrease in the national homeownership rate. Contrastingly, the 2022 Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances reveals a growing trend among a small percentage of families who own multiple real estate properties as rentals or holiday homes. Inheritance plays a minor role in property ownership, with only 6% of Americans owning inherited properties, and a mere 3% residing in homes passed down to them. The majority of such inherited homes are retained as investments by a select few from affluent families, often in addition to properties they already own. For those anticipating that waiting for the boomer generation to pass will make homeownership more attainable, statistical trends indicate that their estates are likely to become more concentrated in the hands of fewer individuals. It's not their age, but rather their accumulated wealth that significantly influences this pattern. A Bloomberg article conducted a survey among individuals with adult children, revealing that a majority of respondents admitted to depleting their retirement savings to assist their struggling children in affording a home. While some families may be in a position to leave multiple homes to a select few, others may make significant sacrifices to support their children. Unfortunately, not all families have the means to provide assistance, and some might even find themselves relying on support from their children. If you don't fall into the first two groups mentioned, you might face even greater challenges when it comes to inheriting assets from older generations. This is the third reason to temper hopes of a surge in available houses upon the passing of the baby boomer generation. They may not be leaving homes for everyone. A 2017 census report indicated that a third of American counties were experiencing more deaths than births, with states like Florida housing a significant number of affluent elderly retirees who have displaced typical families in certain communities. The homes left behind in these areas may not cater to the preferences of first-time homebuyers, lacking amenities such as proximity to job opportunities or quality school districts, as retirees often choose locations that deliberately avoid these factors. If those inheriting these properties are unwilling to reside in retiree-centric communities, they have the option to either sell the property or rent it out. Selling the property would contribute to the housing market supply, but it may not be in an area appealing to first-time homebuyers. The State of Housing report from Harvard University notes that institutional investors have identified this gap and are specifically targeting affordable homes, particularly in the Sun Belt, as they offer a favorable risk-adjusted return on investment. While the role of institutional investors, including private equity firms in the real estate market, is often sensationalized, their impact is significant. According to a report by the National Association of Realtors, these investors accounted for 133% of all residential sales in 2021. While it may not be time to embrace extreme measures like the infamous laser eyes, the situation in the targeted Sunbelt counties by institutional investors presents a concerning picture. In these counties, these investors constitute an even more significant share of buyers, influencing the market dynamics. As the baby boomer generation passes on, they are likely to leave their homes behind, but the beneficiaries might primarily be their affluent offspring or institutional investors. This narrative might not align with the optimistic storyline you hoped for, but it's essential to acknowledge the potential reality. As we step into 2024, challenging circumstances prompt some to consider unconventional solutions. In these times, even smart and well-educated individuals find themselves susceptible to scams promising a vague hope of escaping the rat race. This phenomenon is not new. History reveals that hard times have consistently led people to explore unconventional paths for thousands of years. So